everybody. How are we all? What's news? Welcome. Hello, Emma. Yoga trapeze. Gosh, that sounds interesting. What do you do? Do you do yoga on the trapeze? It's Yasmin Boland here for my 1111. So I was just doing my chanting that I do every morning, and at the end of it I was talking to this cute little girl whose mum, Gemma, does it, and Gemma's in Devon and her daughter, Hope, and Hope's going back to school tomorrow. It's like life is starting to go back to normal, eh? It's quite amazing, amazing. So I thought what I would do today, and well, actually, first of all, did you catch the interview yesterday with Alana Fairchild? Wasn't she amazing? I thought she was amazing. She's connected with me on LinkedIn. I was like, oh, okay, I can connect with Alana. Amazing, amazing woman, amazing. I mean, she's beautiful, she's smart, she's sacred, like, whew, what a thing, eh? If you missed it, it's on my page. Just go to posts, and it was yesterday's 11:11 a.m. And if you don't know Alana Fairchild, let me just give her one further plug. I've given her many plugs, but you know, I actually don't have her cards here. Oh yes, I do. These are her beautiful cards. So she is a really fascinating woman. She's walking her walk and talking her talk. And she was training to be a lawyer, and she's now like super cosmic person. So I relate to that. I was a journalist, and now I'm a fairly cosmic person as well. So I know what it's like. So, okay, so there's that. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to tell you about a funny thing that I'm going to do, which is I'm kind of excited about. I'm going to talk about today's stars. I'm going to start talking about the fact that we are in the eclipse season now over the next few days, because it's really kind of an important time for anybody who's into manifesting, who's into making themselves more powerful, who's into using the innate powers they were born with, all that kind of stuff. It's really a time to kind of step into your power. Please share this video with anybody who you know is going through a tough time, because I'm going to be talking about how to use this cycle for their good, and then I'm going to do a card, because I love to do a card, and I know you guys love a card too. So first of all, I said I'm going to talk to you about the fun thing that I am going to do. Okay, so if you're in the UK, do you know this magazine? It's called Soul and Spirit. And it's an amazing magazine. It comes out once a month, and it's just filled with sort of like new agey stuff. And in fact, for the Aussies out there, I actually said, so for a few years ago now, probably about 8 years ago, I found this magazine in the UK when I was visiting here, and I was like, Australia needs a magazine like this. And I remember talking to friends of mine who work in the magazine publishing world and saying, you know, we should have a magazine like this. They do things like on, you know, how to manifest more money, how to celebrate in bulk, crystals made easy, haunted encounters, psychic guidance, but it's not sort of, you know, spooky. It's actually very kind of, it's very heart-led. I know the editor, Rosalind Moody, and I'm actually speaking to her this morning. She is a wonderful, wonderful woman. I mean, I know her because I write for her. I've got to know her over the years. You know, like this, for example, the affirmation that changed my life. So they do amazing, amazing articles. Anyway, in Australia, I was told, no, we're never going to, we don't have the population to support it. So I don't know if that's true or not, but that's why we don't have it in Australia. But it is in the UK, where I think, you know, Australia's got about, what, 26 million people, and the UK's got about 66 million or something. So yeah, so anyway, the fun thing I'm doing is that, you know how sometimes they get guest editors in to, you know, I mean, magazines like Vogue and all that, and they get a guest editor, or Marie Claire, they sometimes do it. Well, I have been asked to guest edit the August issue, which is like amazing. I'm really excited. I guess it's because I'm an ex-journalist. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to mention that because I find it exciting. They wrote to me the other day and said, would you like to guest edit the August issue? And it's all about taking your spiritual life further, which is definitely something I feel I can comment on because I've definitely done that. You know, having started life as a coffee drinking, cigarette smoking, hard-nosed, hard news journalist. Actually, I was never that hard news. I was always kind of soft news, but I was a journalist. I was a TV producer. And look at me now in my moon room. So yeah, I'm going to guest edit the August issue. And if you're in the UK, I actually have a monthly column in there as well, which if you don't know about it, it's actually one of my very favorite columns. It's here, the moon and you, and that's every month, and it gives you all the information about the new moon and the full moon. So a little plug for Soul and Spirit because it's a great magazine, and we need to support these magazines because otherwise they can't survive. So if you're that way inclined, I promise you this magazine has integrity. As I said, I know the editor now, Rosalind Moody, and she's amazing. She, for example, actually, she is obsessed with crystals, is her obsession. And I would say go online and see if you can get a subscription because they always do great subscription offers. Like they'll do salt lamps, Himalayan salt lamps, or you know they do all sorts of things. I got beautiful Buddha actually once when I subscribed. I actually subscribed to this magazine before I wrote for it. So there you go. So I'm going to guest edit the August issue. So I should say if there's anything you really want to see, tell me. Elaine says, I subscribe, it's fantastic. Yes, it is, it's fantastic. Bernadette says, congratulations, will we get a card reading today? Yes, you will. All right, so there's that. So now let's talk about the, can you get it online, says Genevieve. I'm not sure. I don't know. Soul and Spirit UK, look it up. I get it every month. I subscribe to it. I actually don't know if they give me a free one every month now or if I still pay for it. I don't know, but I definitely used to subscribe to it as just a regular customer. It's just great. You know, like one thing on this spiritual path that I find is that we need to stay aligned, and it's really easy to just wander off the spiritual path and then all of a sudden you realize you haven't meditated for a month and you've been drinking too much alcohol or, you know, arguing or doing whatever things that you do in your life that you feel are toxic. And, you know, so doing things like, well, for me, doing the chanting that I'm doing every day, which I'm still doing, I think we're up to about day 70 and it's free and everyone can join and there's a link on my Facebook events page. Doing the chanting is one of the most powerful things I've ever done because it literally gets me into the spiritual zone every single morning. Because otherwise, you know, I'm a really hard worker. I don't know about you, you're probably a hard worker too. And I'm quite capable of getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, wandering down to the kitchen in my pajamas, making myself a coffee, sitting at my computer, you know, at 6:15 in the morning just to kind of have a little look and see what's going on. And then suddenly it's 6 p.m. and the whole day's gone. And, you know, and I didn't do anything apart from work. So a magazine like this, daily chanting, meditation, anything that you can kind of get into your day, you know, that gets you back on track, to me, is a really, really powerful thing to do. People are saying, I live in the USA. Will I be able to get it? Honestly, I'm not sure. I don't know if they do an online edition. I'm going to speak to Rosalind Moody, the editor. I'm talking to her about something else this morning. And when I speak to her, I'll ask her if there's an online edition. And Elaine says, great free monthly gifts. Yes, exactly. So there you go. So it's ended up being a plug for Soul and Spirit. It wasn't meant to be. It was meant to be to tell you about the most fun thing that I'm going to be guest editing an issue, which I'm actually really genuinely excited about. Who knows what they're going to let me do? They probably won't let me do anything. They'll probably just say, you know, I don't know what they'll say. We'll find out. I want to put my mark on it. All right, so I wanted to talk about the energies today. Here's the chart for today. just so you know. So basically that's a chart of where all the stars are right now. Oh, in the USA, Carrie Rafferty says Barnes and Noble sells it. Awesome. Oh, and Nellie says yes, they do online. There you go. Soul and Spirit online and in Barnes and Noble. One more quick plug for it. There you go. Get it. It's a great magazine. And you get my great column in there, which I really love. So here are the stars. The stars are actually really benevolent today, thankfully. Because there are some really big things coming. I mean, basically the big thing that's going on in the stars right now is right here where my finger is, okay? Which is having Jupiter and Pluto at the very end of Capricorn, and Saturn there, you can see, in Aquarius, but going backwards. So that's why we're in the situation we're in. And honestly, that's why it's not over yet. I was just talking to a lovely woman called Gemma, who was on my chanting this morning, and I met her little daughter Hope, who's 4 years old. And Hope's going back to school tomorrow. And I said to Gemma, how do you feel about that, about your daughter going back to school tomorrow? She said, well, mixed feelings. And I completely understand that, because on the one hand, she wants her daughter to go back and see her friends. On the other hand, you know, these are still very uncertain times. We're not like New Zealand, where they haven't had a new case of coronavirus for something like 18 days, you know, and Australia's just had some kind of, you know, virus-free milestone. We've still got, like, I don't know, a few hundred people either getting new cases. I'm not really sure what's going on. I actually try and avoid the news, to be honest, and even when I try and listen to the news on my Alexa, often it doesn't even come through, and I just think that's the universe saying, don't listen. So that's the big picture, and the fact that we are now in the waning cycle of the moon, in the lead up to the new moon eclipse, which is going to come in on June the 21st, I believe. And, you know, basically what you need to know is that these are really, really intense times. Today's actually quite good, because we've got the sun in the sign of Aquarius making a harmonious angle to the moon in the sign of Aquarius making a harmonious angle to the sun in Gemini. So, you know, that's actually quite nice, because it means that, well, male-female relationships should be going relatively well. You know, there's harmony basically between the yin and the yang. That's a really good thing. Plus, we also have Venus, which is still retrograde, retrograding again past Chiron, the wounded healer. So it's a really good time to make up with someone if you've been upset, to say sorry, to ask forgiveness, or, you know, if there's someone who's upset you and you can't speak to them for whatever reason, you know. Actually, does anybody know that Ho'oponopono thing off by heart? Because I always get it back to front and front to back. It's like, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. I'm pretty sure that's the right order. In fact, let's all say it in a minute together. Can someone write up the Ho'oponopono so I make sure I get it right? But it's a really, really good day to do the Ho'oponopono, which is the thing that says, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. We'll do it. And also, you know, like, if, so Karen Hearn says, so should I say sorry? Always. Always say sorry. Always say sorry. If you've done something wrong, say sorry, you know? If you've done something wrong, say sorry. And if someone asks for your forgiveness, say okay, you know? Now, if that person's, you know, physically or emotionally or mentally abused you, you can forgive them, but you don't forget. Forgiving someone doesn't mean you walk right back into the situation and go, okay, yeah, I know you punched me in the face, but, you know, whatever, I forgive you. Doesn't mean you just walk straight back into the situation. This is something that took me a long time to understand, and I realized it at the end of that very toxic relationship I had, which I've begun to talk about a bit more often, where someone basically abused me mentally, physically, not physically like physically, but you know, he was unfaithful, which is a sort of a physical abuse, but repeatedly unfaithful as well. And, you know, I used to think, well, I can forgive, you know, but I can't walk back into it. And because when you're growing up, aren't we? We're told forgive and forget. Oh, come on, darling, just forgive and forget. Everybody shake hands. Everybody move on. You know, we're taught forgive and forget, forgive and forget. But I had to go through quite shitful times as an adult to realize that you can, just because you forgive doesn't mean you forget. Sometimes you have to remember so that you don't walk back into the same situation. And I do get a lot of people who have been through much worse things than me. And they say, I can't forgive because if I forgive, I give away all my power, you know? I give away all my power if I forgive. And that's not true. You actually pour away the toxicity and the poison and the negativity when you forgive. It doesn't give away your power. And it was actually Doreen Virtue who really helped me understand this back in the day. And she said, you know, I think she said it at one of her angel intuitives that she used to give. Just because you forgive doesn't mean that what they did was okay. It just means you are moving on from it, you know? Yeah, forgive and let go, says Adele. Exactly. Forgive and let go. And that's what we do at full moon, and that's what we do now in the waning cycle. But be aware that this waning cycle is different because it's in the eclipse waning cycle. So it's even more powerful. So, you know, and I feel like time is running out now. You know, any moment we're going to be all back at work and it's all going to be back to normal. So do the work now. Do the work now. And by the way, I've put a link above. I am doing my Eclipse Secrets webinar for anybody who wants to go deep with all this stuff. We'll talk about the full moon eclipse we've just had, and we'll be doing it on the day of the new moon eclipse, which is going to be massive. So we're going to be doing manifesting together. But first we'll do the clear out. If you sign up for it, it's free. You'll get the dark moon ceremony recording so that you can do the clear out before the eclipse. I'll be talking about how to make the eclipse work for you. And it's free when you buy a copy of my new Moonology 2021 diary. And I'm doing it now because the diary is actually being published on July 28. And so I'm doing it now to encourage people to buy the diary, and especially people who watch these kinds of things, because you're my sort of special crowd, and along with my Sun, Moon and Stars members and my Moonlight Collective people, because the diary has sold out 2 years in a row and it could well sell out again. So there's a link above. Right now I'm just finalizing the dark moon meditation, but as soon as that's ready, we'll go live with the page and we'll give you all the links you need. But if you want to just click the link above, you can register interest, and then as soon as the pages are live, we'll email you and go, here's the link. You know, if you've bought the diary, paste your transaction receipt here, and here you are to register for the webinar. And yeah, it's going to be amazing. I actually can't wait. All right, so what we're going to do now is, first of all, we are going to do the Ho'oponopono. All right, so repeat it after me if you're ready to let all that SHIT go, okay? This is actually about asking forgiveness for anything that you've done wrong, okay? But that clears the karma. And so we're starting with that, okay? I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Let's go. Thinking of someone you know you've been wrong with. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And now without the bell, here we go. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. You don't have to have done anything terrible to say that. It can just be someone you've been short with in lockdown, for example. Let's say it one last time, 3 times lucky. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And if you need to apologize to anyone, do it now. And if you, if anyone's been wrong with you, just forgive them. Just forgive them and let it go. Okay, if you've got my Moonology book, which I've got here, my beautiful Moonology book. If you've got that book, try to see, there it is. In there, there's the formula for forgiveness. And it's super, super duper powerful. It was partly channeled and partly tweaked from the Formula for Forgiveness by Charles Fillmore from the Unity Church in the 1920s. So it's amazing, 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 amazing. You can get my book online. All right, so I have to speak to Rosalind Moody very, very soon. Oh, I think this is the card. So I'm going to do a card. Janet says, you can say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you to yourself. Yes, so powerful to do that. Genevieve says it to her husband every day. Yeah, me too. My poor husband. Oh, Liz Craig says, Moonology is a fantastic book, thank you. Sun, Moon and Stars, everybody can come to the workshop, but you have to buy a copy of the diary to get in. It's not... I'm doing a special private quarterly catch-up for the Sun, Moon and Stars just before the workshop. So we will cover the astrology of the 3 months ahead, and that's just a private Zoom call for the members of the Sun, Moon and Stars Club, or the Sun, Moon and Stars portal, which is, you can still join for 50% off. I don't want to keep touting everything, but I'll just let you know, if you want to get 50% off, it's closing on June the 30th, which is about how long we think it's going to take us to get the new page up. moonmessages.com/Aries offer. You can still get 50% off, and I will do a quarterly catch up looking at the astrology for the 3 months ahead, which will be all the eclipses, all the retrogrades, all the big planetary action and so on. But for the Eclipse Secrets Masterclass, the only way to get into that, I'm afraid, is if you have bought a copy of my Moonology Diary 2021. It just has to be the same for everybody. You get lots of benefits of being in the Sun, Moon and Stars Club, but for this, I've set it so your ticket in is your receipt number from buying my Moonology Diary 2021. Can we buy it on Amazon? Yes, of course you can. You can buy it on Amazon. You can buy it... okay, I'm confused at what's available in the Sun, Moon and Stars. Please clarify. Okay, Mac, go to moonmessages.com/Aries offer, and it is all listed down the side there. It says exactly what you get. Yvonne, I've just got everything and ordered everything. Good on you. Booktopia. Yes, Karen says you can buy it at Booktopia. You can, but you have to actually you have to Google it under Moonology Diary 2021. If you just put my name in, it doesn't come up. I'm actually going to change the link over to Dimmix, I think, for that reason. Okay, yes, Tiffany says delivery is delayed. Yes, but you will have a receipt from Amazon. You'll have a receipt from Amazon. So just look in your emails, you'll have a receipt, and then that's what you paste in to the page as soon as we put it live. Ashling, you will be able to put it into the page. There will be a place for the book depository receipt. Barnes & Noble, yes, there's still one there. Pat, yes, there's a link for Booktopia. Don't worry. You don't get a receipt number on Amazon. You get a transaction number. You get a transaction number, I think. Yes, my link took you to Booktopia, but it's a long story. I'm thinking I'm going to change it to Dimmix, but you can still use the transaction number. Okay, I'm going to get all stressed out now if I keep looking at these. I will answer all those questions a bit later on. Are you ready for your card? Are you ready for your card? Are you ready for your card? Let me see one person who says, I'm ready for my card. There's a bit of a time lag. The great card read I pre-ordered. Thank you, Gemma. Oh, that's Gemma who I was speaking to this morning, Gemma Saget. Hello, Hope's mummy. Karen Shanahan is happy. Adele says, yes, you definitely get a transaction number. You definitely do get a transaction receipt, yes. Yes, says Val. Me, says Cheryl. And Jill is ready. Okay, here it is. Ah. Oh. Can you read it? It's backwards, isn't it? The end of a tough cycle approaches. The end of a tough cycle approaches. Ooh. Mac. The end of a tough cycle approaches. The end of a tough cycle approaches. The end of a tough cycle approaches. I'm going to just leave it there. The end of a tough cycle is approaching. How long have we been waiting for that card, eh? I'll see you back here tomorrow. Register for the workshop. Love yous all. Someone said, I saw a meme that said, if people can hate me without knowing me, then I can love you without knowing you. There you go. See you tomorrow.